Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to our final presentation for the day. Sorry. And we're going to hear from Mr. Daniel During, who is the Managing Director of Thomas KLEIN International. Mr. Daniel, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. So, my name is Daniel During. I'm from Thomas KLEIN International, the Managing Director. And it will not be so serious as the two previous presentations, and it will not have that much numbers content, but I'm trying to challenge you a little bit on what designers do and what designers should actually be doing. So my company is called Thomas KLEIN International, and we are 8 people in Dubai and 7 people abroad, 15 in total. The company opened in 2001, and we specialize on different things that we do, all related to the hospitality and food and beverage business, hotel, restaurant, spa, a little bit on office and retail. What we do is everything that has to do with F&B business, from interior design to branding, differentiation factors, looking at F&B consulting, looking at menus, looking at... You cannot hear me? It's okay? Okay. Are you... Yeah? Thanks. So looking at F&B, but on a synergetic level altogether. So we pride ourselves of having all these different teams in-house, where if you want to open a restaurant, you come to us and we'll be looking at your concept, your food concept, your interiors, your kitchen, hiring the staff, training the staff, and opening the restaurant for you or any part thereof. What we hate the most is repetition. So most of the time you go to restaurants I can't talk much about Doha, but when I talk about Dubai, you see one Tom and Serge, which is great, and then you see 10 Tom and Serge behind it, because they all look more or less the same. You see one Petit Maison in Dubai, and then you see one La Sœur and one Bagatelle, and they all look more or less the same. So that's what we hate the most. And the idea, what we try to do all the time, is to get things a little bit out of the box. And how does it marry to procurement? Is that we don't procure. We try to make as much as possible custom made. And that's the most difficult part. Trying to find suppliers in the region that are ready to do custom made items. So this is Pinchos. That's a restaurant we opened in Kuwait for the Sultan Group. And what you see in there is 12,000 handmade stitched cones hanging from the ceiling. Each of them has a little LED light, and the design won us, funny enough, the design won us to be honoree of the best design for a bar in Kuwait, which is dry. We were best bar of 2013. Each cone, as we said, has individual lights, and they're all individually controlled. And what it does, it creates this wave above the tables and chairs, and it creates that wave around the corridors as well. So what you do is you get a spatial definition, but you also get lighting from there. The bar is the reversed aspect. You have the bar perforated. It's a felt wall perforated to create exactly the same effect as you have on the cones. As we said, the first cone to do was hand stitch, and then we started looking in India, China, Kuwait, in the area. Very difficult. We ended up actually, as we said, all hand stitched. Please feel free to stop me, ask questions, or anything you want. Huh? Sorry? So what it is a piece of material, felt. You know the material they use for hats or for billiard tables, and you cut it like you have a circle, and then you roll it on its own. The outside part is black, the inside part is white. You roll it, you stitch it, you put a light through. 12,000 of those. And then inside. 12,000 pieces. So that's Pinchos. The furniture is Moroso. The upholstery used in the Moroso is Quadrat. The tables, each of them also unique. They are all from solid granite, and they are all about half a ton each. So you can't move tables and put them together. It's like, that's what it is. That's an interesting project. Soulful was a restaurant in Abu Dhabi, which had a different logo. And what we had to do here is they wanted to open a second restaurant, a second Soulful, and they said, come up with some interiors because the first one that we had didn't have much personality. So we said, what do we do for interiors? And we were thinking, and while my head designer, who is based in Chicago, was Skyping with me, here comes her daughter with an artichoke that she found in the fridge and said, and she's like 3 years old, and said, Mom, what it is? What is this? And then what it was is that. So there you have 44,500 buttons. Each button is 25 millimeters diameter, and they go from 10 centimeters to 1 meter length. So you know, like when you take these pins game that you put your hand through and it creates forms? So we imagine that with the artichoke. And we put that artichoke on the wall of the restaurant. So that's the entire wall, and that's the artichoke in there. The owners like the idea of the artichoke so much that they changed the logo, and that's the logo today. That was not the original logo of the place. So again, second outlet of Soulful. This is in the IFC in Dubai. And this is Abu Dhabi in Rim Island. That's exactly double the amount of pins. You have 90,000 pins in there. Each of them, as we said, 25 millimeters each. The side of the wall is approximately 35 square meters. Again, those are things to get it done. It was computerized done. You have to cut every piece of wood separately and mount it together. Not an easy job, very, very efficient, and very cost efficient as well. All the furniture is second-hand furniture that we bought from different shops. All the upholstery, it comes from banners on Sheikh Zayed Road or advertising banners altogether that you cut and you reuse as upholstery. So you have upholstery which is totally reutilized. All the benches in the back have been built from pallets, and all the upholstery that you see, they're all different colors because actually it's used from little bits and pieces of a material. The chairs in here, actually was Gaio who's sitting there. Gaio's idea to finish off all these chairs with comics. So second-hand comics glued onto the chairs and then varnished above to protect them. So again, total, not one product had actually been used new. Steel material from demolishing works, and the decoration is graffiti. The graffiti is all painted on water-based colors so that it doesn't have any impact also in the environment. Scaffolding wood in here, that's scaffolding wood, repurposed as well. And that's a little bit of what we do. It's called Burger Rebel, but actually we don't do burgers. We rebel against burgers and we do sliders instead. Zay Zaytoun, and that's one before the last, I won't bore you much longer. Zay Zaytoun we have, it's in Bahrain, and those who speak Arabic understand the meaning is olive oil, and then what we wanted to do is to create something that reflects the whole concept of the olive oil. So I'll go to just flash forward to show you this is an olive tree that has been shot specially for the purpose of this project. It's not stock photography, so we have all the rights on that shot, and then enlarged to larger than life size to actually cover the entire wall. And the wall where you're sitting is that tree, one against each other. Those stones over here, they come all the way from Palestine, and they're actual real stones for crushing olives and to do olive oil. The little balls in there, this actually is also Palestinian hand-blown glass. And done as an installation to create this light feature in there. Hand-blown glass. Yeah. There you go. So the whole light feature becomes an installation with hand-blown glass, and you have all the wood is olive veneer, olive tree veneer. The furniture is Cusco, and the upholstery is from Edelman, leather from Edelman. This is the junction, and that's probably the oldest of all the projects, and maybe the most interesting one. What you see here is actually tea. The place is called Tea Junction. It was commissioned by Lipton. They wanted to create something that will fight the direction of coffee, and they have a lot of Cafe Nero and Starbucks, and everybody's drinking coffee and buying coffee machines to get home. And the people started consuming less tea than what they should actually consume regularly, or what they were actually consuming regularly. And people were moving into the coffee business, or into the coffee consumption as such, even at home. So Lipton said, we have to contrast that and create something that will be like a Starbucks, but will revive the idea of tea altogether. So we came up with that. The brief was to cater to the young-minded individual who felt good about himself and the world around him, and he was looking for simpler ways to live better. That was the brief that we got from Unilever. And it had to be young, it had to be simple, and it had to be comfortable. The chairs are all by Artiford. The bubble chairs are Finstone, custom made. And this little installation here with the light is actually, if you remember the old way to make ice when you had a party, you take these plastic bags that you buy in the supermarket, fill them with water, tie them up, put them in the freezer. Now imagine that custom on 30 by 30 tiles, each is 1 by 1 inch squares, filled with real tea, so that this is actually chamomile, and this is Darjeeling, and this is Assam, and you have all the tea varieties, but you know when you go to a tea house, you have the tea leaves, but the tea leaves is not what you drink, right? What you drink is the infusion. So we wanted actually to portray it. Open two, one in Bourjuman and one in Emirates Towers. Unilever on their side created something called the Tea Bird, which is this machine here, which actually infuses tea within 30 seconds. Then the tea leaves are processed in a certain way that you put it in that machine, and within 30 seconds exactly you have your cup of tea. Any questions? Thank you very much.